Hi, everybody. This is Saad, December 18th, 2022. Just witnessed arguably the greatest soccer match of all time with the divine Lionel Messi winning the World Cup. I can't tell you the elation, the existential joy that I feel at him having finally lifted it. I was going to actually write an article describing many different angles to explore psychological angles uh, that try to unpack why it is that he can instill or trigger such emotions in billions of people, including yours truly and including all of my family, all of whom were in complete tears. I was gonna prepare a whole sort of structured set of arguments, but I'm too excited to let the moment pass, so I will just ad lib here and as I typically do when I do these sad truth clips, and then maybe later I may come back with a more structured analysis. I guess the first thing is the reason why Messi means so much to me is because he actually transcends national borders. Messi is not Argentinian. Messi is intergalactic, right? I'm not born in Argentina. I'm not from Rosario, but I identify with him, as does my Brazilian colleague who texted me to say, I'm rooting for Messi now, as did billions of people, all of whom don't come. There's only 45 million Argentinians, and yet everybody looks at Messi and sees something truly unique and glorious. You know, people might be inspired by a great painting or a great poem or you know uh, a great classical symphony. Well, beauty comes in many forms, and actually a few years ago, maybe I think it was a summer ago or 2 summers ago, I was asked to maybe do a chat with AC Grayling, the famous philosopher out of England, on beauty, a discussion on beauty, and I was going to, of course, discuss the evolutionary roots of beauty. Of course, beauty can be captured in many ways. Architectural beauty, physical beauty, movement beauty. Right? There's all kinds of ways by which we can define beauty. Well, Messi is the ultimate manifestation of beauty in that he does something that the world collectively loves more than any other sport, right? I mean, half the world was watching the World Cup final. Imagine an event where humanity stops for you to watch this game, and he plays at a level that is truly. I mean, I hope that now even the haters are not going to talk about the GOAT thing, and I'll mention this in a second. I'll talk about that in a second. But he plays the game in a way that is indescribable, that is it's difficult to put into words, and no one who has played soccer at any serious level doubts that. No one, just the way he touches the ball, just the way he caresses the ball, his vision, his skills, his I mean he leaves you speechless. So at a most fundamental level, I love Messi and the world loves Messi because of his extraordinary skills. But let's unpack this further. In 2014, he went to the World Cup final and he lost it, in heartbreak in overtime. And then in 2015, he lost the Copa America final in penalty kicks. And in 2016, he lost another Copa America final in penalty kicks. And he was so hurt and he was so fed up. He said, I'm done. I've tried everything. I'm quitting the national team. And that's when the Argentinians realized that they had been very, very rough and unfair to him. And then there was an outcry and they convinced him to come back. Now imagine his story could have ended in 2016, but his grit, his persistence, right? His truly stick to itness caused him to come back to the national team. Then in 2 summers ago, he won the Copa America in Maracanã, in Brazil, beating Brazil. And then finally, people said, okay, well, finally he's won a title with the national team. And then here comes the World Cup. And of course, all sorts of haters were saying, oh, he can't be the GOAT because he's never won the World Cup. And of course, nothing could be further than the truth. I mean, right? Think about it. Today, the game could have gone differently. How would that have changed whether he's the GOAT or not? It's silly. It's irrational. And yet, many people, countless people said, unless he wins the World Cup, he's not the GOAT. Well, he won it. But he didn't just win it. He won it at the age of 35. He won it by scoring 7 goals, second leading scorer. He won it by winning the Golden Ball for the best player at 35. Only player in history to win the Golden Ball as best player in the World Cup in history. Not Maradona, not Pele, not Zidane. He won it. He's got the most goals, most assists. He's the youngest player to score a goal and an assist in a World Cup game, and the oldest player to score a goal and an assist in a World Cup game. He also has the most man of the matches in World Cup games. He also broke the record for most games in a World Cup. And then he plays today in the World Cup final. He scores 2 goals. And then he scores in the penalty shootout. And he wins man of the match. And he wins the World Cup. So from a cosmic justice perspective, you feel connected to him because you say to yourself, if someone as beautiful, as humble as Messi, family man, no tabloid, loves the same girl from Rosario, marries her, has 3 kids. If someone so spotless, and don't tell me about what happened against the Netherlands. The Netherlands were doing all sorts of shenanigans and he lost to school. He's a competitor, right? It's war out there. But by any standard, you could ask a million players and coaches. He's so unassuming. He's so humble. He carries himself with such grace and poise. So, he's part of the Jungian archetypes. He's part of the collective unconscious. He's part of Greek mythology. And I'm not saying this because, I'm fanboying him. Because believe me, I'm not someone who fanboys easily. But it's because Messi even disarms me, right? Because he transcends all these things. He's so beautiful. Messi doesn't belong to Argentina. He doesn't belong to, he's beauty. He truly is. And what we saw today, I mean, you couldn't have come up with a script. You couldn't come up with a Greek mythological story, a Greek tragedy that could have been with so many twists and turns. 2-0 ahead, then they come back, then Messi scores again, then another penalty, then this. So, on so many levels, it's unbelievable. It really is. Life is so it has so many vagaries, right? So many vicissitudes, so many turns that you can't control. And so oftentimes you feel, how come I'm not getting my due worth? How come I'm not, right? And why did the 4-year-old get leukemia? When you look at Messi, someone who is as great a soccer player as he is, you felt that it would be just cosmically unjust if he didn't win the World Cup. And so many players came out. Modric just came out and said, I want Messi to win. And after Messi had just defeated Croatia, he said, I want Messi to win because he deserves it. He's the greatest of all time. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a very over-the-top Arab guy, said, Messi has to win it. People get it because really Messi transcends it all. Again, it's not a form of fanboying. It's at the most visceral, mythological sense. I'm left speechless. I truly am. As I was watching the game, and even when they won, you can't imagine how I was feeling during the game. My whole family, they were in tears. Why does that happen? Right? Again, what drives? Because we're banding with a concept. We're banding with talent. It's tribal, it's coalitional, but not to a flag, not to a religion, not to an identity, not to a race, not to a language. We don't speak Spanish. We're not Argentinian, but we are Argentinian because we love beauty. We love grace. We love heroism, right? So what this guy has done is that he has silenced any haters. Now, of course, there's always going to be someone else who comes along and says, but he didn't win in the Premiership, right? But by no metric, by no measure, can anyone ever say anything about Lionel Messi. He represents beauty. He uplifts us. He represents the dream of every player who didn't I was a competitive soccer player who was hopefully heading towards a professional career. I had a devastating career-ending injury. I watch Messi, I become Messi. The kid in Mozambique and in Zimbabwe and in Bolivia and in Japan, they look at Messi, they are Messi. Messi represents them. There is no other person that transcends race, ethnicity, linguistic heritage, religion, skin color. That's what makes Lionel Messi the global exemplar of all that is beautiful in the game. So I could not be existentially happier for him. Being the sentimental romantic guy that I am, I'm very, very worried about him retiring. He needs to be eternal. You can't imagine a world where Messi is not titillating you in the way that he is. But in any case, I can't describe how happy I am, and I'm sure there are billions of people who are feeling the exact same sentiments, that he got his due, what he deserved. And for a moment you think that there is poetic justice, there's cosmic justice, there's existential justice, because it would have been a travesty for a player of his talent that you will never see again. Trust me, could never happen. You could not evolution cannot engineer a player that is better than this guy. And for him to not have won this would have been a travesty. And so, Lionel Messi, thank you for all that you've done to elevate the human spirit, to make us dream. You're unbelievable. You're outlandish. And we are fortunate to be living in your world. At least when it comes to football, my goodness, you're something special. Take care, everybody. Cheers.